Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Right now, you're looking at the Google Doodle tribute to Inge Lehmann, who supposedly discovered the Earth's inner core. Right now, on my written blog, this is my most frequented post. It is getting way more views than any other post I've done in the last week, and I think that's just because of the Google Doodle. But if people are after information on this lady, I'll do a post on her as well. I wasn't planning on this, but based on all the traffic, I feel like people want knowledge, so I'll give you what I've noticed. First of all, take note that she died in the year 93, the number of Thelema. She also died on the 52nd day of the year. Copenhagen equals 52, where she was born and where she died. Her initials, IL, I is the ninth letter, L is the 12th. 9 plus 12 is 21. She died on the 21st day. But L, in Pythagorean gematria, instead of being 12, becomes 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. So her initials, IL, are 9, 3. The number of Thelema, the number of do what thou wilt. And remember, she is credited with discovering, a word I use with quotations, the Earth's inner core. Again, you have to remember that nobody knows what the Earth's inner core is really all about. It's all theory, it's all speculation, but nobody really knows. Just like so much of science. As kids, we're taught so much in school that we can neither prove nor disprove. We can mostly just remember and believe. And as a kid, I used to ask a lot of questions. My mom says I used to drive her nuts as a kid because I just asked so many questions. Question, question, question. I remember some of my teachers, they appreciated my questions, other ones, not so much. And I remember asking a lot about the Earth's inner core and how we could even know that it was true. I mean, as a kid, I got it. How are you going to know something that's way thousands of miles into the Earth exists or not? Anyhow, her name in Pythagorean gematria sums to 57, a number that we're learning more and more about. The word Mary equals 57, very feminine name. So does the name Julie. The word moon equals 57. The moon does 3 perfect cycles around, around the earth. It's like a reset every 57 years. And the word moon equals 57. Of the first 6 presidents, 4 were the age 57 when they were inaugurated, including the first, George Washington. Notice that the name Lehmann in simple English gematria sums to 67, like the word female in Jewish gematria. We're seeing a lot of this 67 coding. Yesterday there was a train crash in Philadelphia, train number 188. The mayor speaking all about it. His name's all coded and decked out with 93. And the female witness that they got, an NBC producer, her name summed to 67. And this Google Doodle came up yesterday, the same day as the plane crash. Maybe somehow, some way there's a connection there. Also, maybe not. Looking closer at her date of death, remember she died on the 52nd day of the year in Copenhagen with the 52 gematria. But this day has a numerology of 27, a number so often associated with death. Also, the big way, it sums to 116. Flip that number upside down, you have 911. She's known for discovering the inner core. Inner's a 33 word. Inner core 56. Inner core simple English gematria 101. Both words with 11 numerology, number of much significance. In 1971, Professor Francis Birch said the Lehmann discontinuity was discovered through exacting scrutiny of seismic records by a master of a black art for which no amount of computerization is likely to be a complete substitute. Isn't that a weird phrasing? A master of a black art? Is that science? I mean, what? The name Francis Birch, Truth Seeker, sums to 66. I'll have you know that the Church of Satan was established in the year 66. And Lehmann discontinuity also connects to Satanism. Here's the model showing the picture. This is from heavy.com. The Lehmann discontinuity supposedly circles the inner core between the outer core. The gematria of the term Lehmann discontinuity is 96, like Freemason, like Satanism, like the word knowledge. She's said to be the master of the black art. Earlier this year, we were getting headlines from CERN, the scientific organization that openly uses the symbol 666 to represent them. And then they give us headlines that CERN is searching for dark matter, something that has an English gematria of 666. Remember, the number 111 was also central in the train crash story yesterday. From CERN to Inge Lehmann's Lehmann discontinuity. Suspicious occult numbers found all throughout science that we are taught as a nation. I did a post on how the education system is the beast system, a system that purposefully teaches lies, disinformation, and gives people bad values, all by design, because that's what they want out of us. I also want to point out that she died at the age of 104. She died months before turning 105. She would have turned 105 in May. But for some reason, Time wants to say that she was 105. Heavy.com, everywhere I looked, wants to say that she was 105 when she died. And that's interesting because blood moon equals 105. And we're coming up on the fourth and final blood moon in this curious stretch. Possibly a connection there. All right. So, Truth Seeker, a funny note about this woman is they say she became the expert of earthquakes in the Earth's, core makeup despite living in a place, Copenhagen, where there were almost no earthquakes. But she also did her research down in New Zealand, where recently we've been getting some super curious earthquakes. Remember how I said her name summed to 57? Go back and look at that. We were talking about the significance of 57. On May 7th this year, there was an earthquake in the area where she used to do a lot of research. In Bougainville, which also has a gematria of 57. We got this earthquake on 5-7 in an area with 57 gematria. I've been decoding a lot of this. Earthquakes that correspond with dates, locations, and magnitude. Although reporting on that earthquake, it happened at the time, it happened 144 kilometers from Papua New Guinea. They wanted to report it that way. This number that comes from Revelation, representing Mark of the Beast. Other reporting on it, the location they gave us, Kokopo, Papua New Guinea, has the gematria of 93. Here the reported earthquake time is 1:44 Universal Standard Time. Mark of the Beast. Again, this is the location she used to research. This story's from now, her stories are from back then, but the numbers coded within are the same. Shows you what gang has been in power, Truth Seeker, all through history. I want to point out that she studied at Cambridge just like Charles Darwin. Remember, she was born in the year 1888? Darwin has some connections just like her. The name Charles, I didn't do the S exception up here, but the name Charles sums to 30 and 39 with the S exception. 66 was simple English gematria. Notice that 39 is the flip of 93. The name Darwin has a gematria of 33. He died on a date with 33 numerology, Truth Seeker. He also published his book Origin of Species after attending Cambridge. Origin of Species has a gematria of 88, like the words poison and program. Origin of Species taught the world survival of the fittest, a mentality that fits in with do what thou wilt, manifest destiny. So often you'll listen to intellectuals rant about things happening in the world that are awful, and they'll justify them with theories such as origin of species, survival of the fittest. This is a mentality of conquering, of overcoming, of destroying others. If instead we were taught that we were a giant connected nervous system and all dependent on one of each other instead of survival of the fittest, we'd have a different population as a people. If we went to school and learned about love, community, helping one another, instead of shit like the Earth's core and survival of the fittest, stuff that doesn't even benefit us in any way, it would surely be a different world. And that's the point I'm getting at, Truth Seeker. Part of the reason we're taught all this nonsense is so that we never focus on what matters, and our heads are cluttered with a bunch of nonsense that we don't know what to really think of. Remember it just well enough so we know to circle A, B, C, or D on the test. Pass the grade, get out of the class. It's the way our education system's set up. It's all by design. The date the book released, November 24th, 1859, has a numerology of 31, like the foundational degree of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. 31 through 33 are the ranging degrees. Sums to 96, like Freemason, like Lehmann discontinuity. With regards to Darwin, the first scientist to ever oversee the Charles Darwin Foundation, their name was Victor Van Stralen, a name with 74 gematria. They would die at the age of 74 on a very curious date, a date with 33 numerology, a date that was also February 29th, the leap year date, in the year 64, the number of Thelema, the number of do what thou wilt, the number connected to 93. This scientist died on this very weird date, connected to his age, connected to his name. Again, this was the first president of the Charles Darwin Foundation. You start looking at all the societies connected to this, the Linnean Society, it's all these numbers, Truth Seeker. This is our scientific community. Nikola Tesla, another numerological curiosity. The name Nikola Tesla sums to 119, like Star of David. If you look at all of the things he's credited for achieving, it's mind-blowing. It's hard to believe one person could come up with so much. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just a front. It said he came to the United States in 1884. Remember, United States of America equals 84. Tesla died on a date that corresponds with the numerology of conspiracy. Just like Darwin. Just like Darwin. And you know who else, Truth Seeker? Old Albert Einstein. You know what year he came to the United States in? He came to the United States in the year 33. He died 22 years later in the year 55. He was born March 14th, 1879, a date with 33 numerology. This date, with the other method, also has a numerology of 96, like Freemason. He died April 18th, 1955, another date with 33 numerology, and with the other method, 17 numerology. If you add the plus 19, this also sums to 96. So this date even has a 96 numerology connection as well. His birth and his death numbers are very much related. And think about that, being in the United States for 22 years. Think about all the classrooms you were probably in with pictures of Einstein. This is probably the most conservative you ever saw his hair. Normally his hair is all froed out. And to me, Truth Seeker, that's all part of a psychological operation. In this nation, intellectualism is a burden. It's made fun of. That crazy hair, it's associated with intelligence. In this nation, we've taught ourselves to associate intelligence with words such as geek, nerd, things that are not desirable. Somehow, even what we learn about Einstein fits into that. Einstein, his theory, MC squared, MC equals 33 in Jewish gematria, because M is 30 in Jewish gematria. He died in the year vaccinations began, 55. So the point is, Truth Seeker, these numbers are all over every major scientist. They're also all over science, from the periodic table to the hurricane scale to so much more. We live in a matrix of numbers created by Freemasons who operate in secret and who have permeated everything from religion to science. The first book in the Bible is Genesis. It has a gematria of 33. Genesis is said to be the scientific equivalent of Big Bang. Big Bang equals 33. Big Bang 33. Genesis. Whoops, got to spell it right though. 33. Not a coincidence, truth seeker. All part of the coding over our entire lives. We aren't to know truth. We're just to know what we're told, and we're to believe it. You know what the word believe equals, truth seeker? 33. We have to believe in the inner core. We have to believe this woman even existed. They don't know where her body is. They don't know if she was cremated, buried. There's all sorts of different speculation out there. She's known as a seismologist. One last connection. If you write out the word 33, truth seeker, and sum it with Pythagorean gematria, it sums to 66. USGS, the seismologist agency, sums to 66. So does the word woman. Women are really heating up in our society right now in the headlines. Lots of coding. Somehow all of this stuff's connected, truth seeker. If you read about this woman, you'll see that she was way ahead of her time. Got educated with the boys, something that almost no other women got at the time. And then look, credited with making some of the greatest discoveries in science for her time. But whether those discoveries are true or not, I'll leave that up to you to decide. All right, truth seeker, until next time.